Good morning. As you all are aware, we had a coaching change yesterday. Coach Fizdale was relieved of his duties. We appreciate all that Coach Fizdale did for our team and organization-wise here. He made a positive impact. But unfortunately, we are underperforming even the lowest of preseason expectations. We're an organization that has high expectations for our team, so change had to be made. You know the numbers. We're in the midst of an 8-game losing streak, 7-game home consecutive losing streak. But going back to last year, we're just 14-26 over our last 40 regular season games. So the trends were not positive, and we had to make a change in course at this time early in the season. These decisions are never easy. They're always difficult, particularly in season. But this is a production bottom line business, and a change was warranted and it had to be made. J.B. Bickerstaff is coming in as the head coach for the rest of the season. J.B. was formerly the associate head coach. He's one of the most respected assistant coaches in the NBA with a very impressive and extensive resume. And he's also done this before. He was successful in a similar position during the 2015-16 season with the Houston Rockets. After the Rockets started off 4-7, there was a great deal of turmoil with the team. He turned it around, brought stability and success to the Rockets. So he's uniquely qualified to take over at this point. We are the Memphis Grizzlies. We always get through adversity and emerge on the other side of adversity and have success. We're going to get through this and be successful. I have the utmost confidence in JB, our coaching staff, the entire basketball operations staff, and this roster of players. Yes, certainly injuries have taken their toll, but we've managed to be resilient in the past and get through injuries and all sorts of obstacles, and we'll get through this and be successful. I'm very confident of that, and I'm very eager to get started to work with JB. JB, welcome, and I know you're going to do a great job. At this point, we will take questions.
Chris, Ron Tiller,
yeah, Ron.
Commercial Appeal.
I know you.
Rightly or wrongly, it's perceived around the league and in Memphis that Marc Gasol greatly influenced this decision. Did management or ownership have a conversation with Marc before or after you fired Fizdale?
Well, obviously, it's no secret there was tension between the two. And this is a factor, but it's not the overriding factor. As I said, the trends have not been positive. We've been heading in a bad direction for quite some time. We need to turn this around. And, we talked to Marc, basically in real time as about the same time that I was talking to Coach Fizdale.
Chris, Peter Edmiston, Sports
Yes,
56. Would this have happened had David Fizdale not made the decision he made regarding Marc in the fourth quarter on Sunday?
Well, Peter, I mean, look where the trends I laid out here. I mean, 8 straight losses, 7 straight at home, 14-26 over the last 40. We also didn't close well last year. I think we were like 7-14 over the last 21 with a different roster, obviously, and we were healthy at the time. So we just weren't heading in a positive direction. We needed to have a change to, try to save the season, continue the development of our players, and so this was the decision we made at this time.
I asked because when we were here, I guess May 2016, when Fizz was hired, one of the things that you highlighted was development of players and his development of players.
To Fizdale's credit, he did a good job developing his players here. I mean, look at the emergence of JaMychal Green. D.D. Davis is starting to come on. Wayne Selden last year. I mean, Mike Conley had a good year last year, so give him credit in that regard. But the overall team performance, unfortunately, wasn't up to our expectations.
The question would be, with development-wise, do you think a young coach deserves the same patience and development that young players typically get?
Well, we just, again, Peter, looking at where we were headed, it just wasn't a great deal of positive trends. You're a stats guy, anything to jump on and hold on to. And we have an opportunity right now to make a change, hopefully get a positive reboot, which I think we will, And we think we have a man right here to my left that's uniquely qualified for this job at this point in time. Look, he's already getting to work. He's got his practice gear on right now, all right? It means business.
Clayton Collier, Local 24.
Yeah, Clayton.
Entering Sunday's game, did the Grizzlies need to beat the Nets in order for David Fizdale to remain the coach Monday?
No, I don't think that was necessarily the case. I mean, obviously the loss didn't help. It was a 7th straight home loss. It's very disappointing. Unfortunately, the script in these losses has been similar, where we've given up leads, we've gotten hit by a haymaker with the other team, particularly in the third quarter, and had a hard time reacting. So I wouldn't say it was just that loss. It's the totality of going back to last year, the direction we were heading in, and again, we had to make a change because we were just trending downward, and we got to do something right now to try to save the season, get back on the right tracks, and be the Memphis Grizzlies that our fans deserve.
Coach, you've made this move before, moving over that one seat. With your relationship with Coach Fizdale, difficult? What's going through your mind now going forward?
Excuse me. It's difficult. There's, Fizz and I have been friends since I was 17 years old. He was in my wedding. The reason I came here was to be with him and help him succeed. So this, yesterday was a very difficult day for me personally and my family because of our relationship with Fizz. There's a task to be done. The opportunity was given to me to lead that task, and now you got to get it done. So, through the emotions, you have to come up with a plan, and hopefully that plan rights the ship a little bit.
In these 24 hours, I know as an assistant you always have things going in your mind. How much can you change when personnel doesn't change? How much can you change as a coach? What do you think needs to be done moving forward?
We can tweak a few things, but the things that you tweak have to be simple adjustments. It can't be, grand scheme things because you just don't have time. We started out the year playing very good basketball. So it's here, it's in this group. And what we're going to try to do is get back to doing more of those things we were doing when we were successful. Fizz led the way in that start, with the things that he did offensively and defensively. And we just need to get back to that spot. It's not going to turn overnight. I don't have pixie dust in my pocket, but, the purpose of this job and being in this position is improvement, every single day. And it's not just in these circumstances. When you coach basketball, that's the goal. It's the process of every day trying to improve and every day teaching. And then, the end goal is, it falls where it may. So that's the direction we're headed in. That's our focus is every single day, what do we have to do to get better?
Jeff Calkins from the Commercial Appeal. Chris, 17 months ago, you parted ways with Dave Yeager and handpicked David Fizdale to be the guy to create the new culture here. In retrospect, A, was that a mistake? And then B, what happens to this culture that was supposed to have been built in the meantime?
No, I don't think it was a mistake, Jeff. I mean, Coach Fizdale made a positive impact in a short time here, both with the team, our player development made big strides. The organization that he showed, there was a good culture here, and again, we wish him all the best. I don't feel it's a mistake at all, but we'd slipped, and so now we've got to do everything we can to, as I said earlier, reboot and get going back in a positive direction and be the Memphis Grizzlies that this city and our fan base has grown to love over the last 7 years. And I've seen this happen before when a change is made in season. And you get a positive bounce out of it, not just on the short term, but over the course of the whole year. And again, looking at a man we had here on our coaching staff who had successfully, handled this type of job before, we felt this was the time to do it, and he was the perfect guy to lead the change.
Lee Smith, Tri-State Defender. For JB, obviously you've been around all of the players as well as Coach Fizdale. How would you describe the mood in the locker room over the past week leading up to this?
I think we were all frustrated. You know what I mean? No, these guys are the ultimate competitors. You don't make it to this level if you're not a competitor and a competitor at a high level. So none of those guys in that locker room liked losing. You know, I don't think that there was ever the feeling that we couldn't turn it around. You know, I know the guys believed in Coach and what we were doing and supported him 100%. And you know, the thought was that we would turn it around. We would turn it around, and we would turn it around together. You know, things obviously have changed now, but those are still the same guys in that locker room that are still competitive. And you know, relationships between them are strong, and together they want to turn it around, and together we will.